Users are managers who you will be granting access to your company's gifted account. They are not recipients of gifts, but will be the ones either sending gifts, viewing reports, loading funds, or managing other aspects of your account. There are different tiers within user permissions. The person who creates your company's gifted account is known as the admin. There can be multiple admins, and they can have access to every feature without budget limitations and can see the details of every gift ever sent from the system. The next role is the manager. Managers may or may not have access to the entire system depending on the permissions granted to them. But the key difference is that a manager can only view the gifts that were sent from their account, not the entire system. The last role is a team member. Team members report to a specific manager and are generally granted less access. Like managers, if they are given access to the report section, they can only see the gifts that they sent, not what other users sent. To add a new user, click on Users from the left-hand side of your screen, followed by the Add User button at the top right. The default status when adding a new user will be active. Enter the person's company email in the username field, select their role from the dropdown, and enter their first and last name. The phone number field is not mandatory. System permissions is where you will select what parts of the system the user you are adding will have access to. Depending on the role you click, some permissions might already be active and in red, which you can change. Clicking on and highlighting a permission in red grants the user access to that section. If you want to remove a permission, simply click on it again and it will turn gray. Put settings in red if you want the user to have access to edit the default graphic and greeting messages. Put users in red if you want the user to be able to add other users to your company's gifted account. Put reports in red if you want the user to be able to see, track, and resend gifts that they sent. Put budget in red if you want the user to be able to load funds and see all the budget transactions that occurred on the system. Put recurring gifts in red if you want the user to be able to add or deactivate employees in your automated birthday and/or anniversary activities. Put ad hoc gifts in red if you want the user to be able to send gifts other than birthdays or work anniversaries, such as weddings, work from home gifts, and more. Lastly, put Add Activity in red if you want the user to be able to add new activities. The next part of the user permissions setup is the Send permissions. In this section, you will add all of the activities that you want the user to have access to. Recurring gifts refers to your automated activities that include birthdays and work anniversaries, while manual refers to all of your other gifting activities. If you skip this section or don't provide access to each activity that you want the user to access, then they won't see it on their end when they log into their account. Next up is the Budget Limitations section. This is the place where you empower your managers to gift within a specific predetermined budget. You can set a daily, monthly, quarterly, yearly, or no time limit budget. Budgets do not accrue. So for example, if you grant a user $500 per month and they only use $300, the next month they will restart at $500, not $800. An important thing to note is that if you leave the budget section blank, the user will have access to all the money available on the account without any limitations. The only time you need to add permissions under the Reports View permissions is if you want the user to only be able to view but not to send gifts. In this case, you would not highlight anything under System Permissions besides Reports, and then you would skip down to this section, add the activities you want them to view the reports for, and click Save. After you save a new user's permissions, that user will automatically receive an email with instructions on how to set up their password and gain access to your company's gifted account. Editing an existing user's profile, either because the person left the company, forgot their password, or because you wanted to modify their permissions, is quick and easy. If you have multiple pages of users, enter the user's name or email and click Search. Then, under the Actions column, click on the I information icon. From here, you can deactivate a user by clicking once on the user status bar and changing it to gray, meaning inactive. You can also send a reset password email or edit other permissions. When you're done, click Save.